3 of the Voice of Texas Morning Show, AM 700 KSEV. Imbibing and maybe enjoying an adult beverage every once in a while. Not a bad idea. I want to welcome Candy Smith. She's an alcohol industry expert. She's the founder and CEO of Candy's Signature Cocktails. Candy, welcome to the Voice of Texas.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Doing well. You know, probably a little early to be thinking about a little later in the day, but, you know, I can imagine around 5-ish today I'm going to have a hankering for a good stout brew. But, I mean, there's some protocol that needs to be followed here for those who believe starting a little earlier than I do, right?
Yes, absolutely. I have a 3 rule for the long hours of drinking, and I would suggest a 1-to-1. So for every beer or cocktail, have a glass of water, and then snack all day long. Don't get a big meal, and stay away from caffeine. So those are my 3 rules.
Whoa! Stay away from caffeine. I get up at oh dark 30. I mean, I got to have a little caffeine. So when is the cutoff? When do I got to stop drinking caffeine?
Well, you know, this is my fatal flaw as well. I'm a huge coffee lover, but what it does is it confuses the body a bit on how much you can tolerate through the day. So if you have that cup of coffee in let's say the 2-hour window after you started cocktails, it may make you go to bed actually a little earlier than you thought.
And before you have the traditional corned beef and cabbage, that's probably not a good deal. Candy Smith is my guest right now. She is the founder and CEO of Candy's Signature Cocktails. Now, as I mentioned right off the top, typically at St. Patty's Day you're going to want to partake in a brew. But are there cocktails that I've missed throughout my life's experience that also go well with St. Patrick's Day?
Well, there are many. I mean, you know, if we want to say with the signature, you know, beautiful green that St. Patrick's comes from, you know, the mojito is my favorite.
Yeah.
And there's many cocktails out there, but I will tell you for St. Patrick's Day, and especially with the big news coming out today that craft beers have hit double digits for the first time in the economy with 11% volume. It's just incredible news that the craft industry and the craft beers are really making some headway for the first time in a big way, substantial way.
Yeah, I think America's taste buds are changing too because, you know, back in the 70s when I was coming up, I mean, the big producers, the Buds, the Coors, and all these mass-producing brews, I mean, they just flooded the market, and craft brew wasn't something that was really part of everyday life. But with the rejuvenation of the wine industry, I think the craft beers kind of adopted that mantra as well, and so you've got microbrews showing up everywhere, all around the country, and they're becoming so popular locally, they're starting to export.
Well, you know, I mean, you look at what's going to Russia and Australia and so many parts of the world, and I think really the beauty for beer lovers is that this really gets the more variety. You can really get the artisans to get some acknowledgement here, and that's really astounding because, you know, while you know it. Making beer, I mean, President George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, even our president now, they all have home breweries. They're brewing their own beer. And I think while technology has allowed the novice to actually try to brew their own beer, it's a great American story that beer has taken on. And I think it really allows almost a chef personality of really kind of honing in on exactly what you want and what you can get from these craft brewers. And they've really done a fantastic job, and you can see that it's being embraced in a really big way with these numbers.
What I've noticed too is that, you know, it's not uncommon to do food pairing with wines per se, but now I'm hearing about food pairing done with certain craft brews. Like I said, I think you're pointing out and the sales reflect this, like an evolution on what folks want from their brewski, and it's not just the You know, I mean, a Budweiser will do on every given day, but if you're out there celebrating, you're going to want something in the craft realm, right?
Oh yeah, and I think everybody celebrating with spirits and beer and wine and whatever is all about hospitality, and I think it's allowing people to kind of put their own mark on actually a really beloved beer. I mean, you can really put your own personal flavors and be able to create your own personality around your beer and serve it. And I think for the first time, people are embracing that type. It's actually, very powerful as well as whatever your signature dish is.
Gotcha.
Cooking in the.
Let me ask you, hey, Candy. Let me ask you what
yeah.
you are going to celebrate. What are you going to hoist first today, as far as a brew?
As a brew, I have to tell you, I really like a very light beer. I'm not one of those heavy, thick ales, but I'm all in the blonde world, believe it or not. And I know that sounds I actually color my hair, but yeah, no, I'm blonde too. So no, I like to stick light, but I know that there's even the addition of fruits and berries and so many different. I mean, literally, the door is open. You can go to so many places.
Yeah, isn't the Hefeweizen? Isn't that the one that you have? I think I'm pronouncing that beer correctly with the lemon wedge on it.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Candy Smith. She is an alcohol industry expert, the founder and CEO of Candy Signature Cocktails. Where's there a website that folks can go to check out what you do?
It's candysignature.com, and I've made a ready-to-serve line with it's a ready-to-serve lemon drop and a ready-to-serve honeybee. So we're celebrating spring and launching my new line this year, so it's a very exciting time.
Very cool. Thank you very much, Candy. Appreciate you being here on The Voice of Texas.
Hey, take care, Chris. Thank you for the opportunity.
You bet.